There's a hidden story written in your body, older than your name, deeper than your voice. It's a song your cells hum quietly beneath everything you say and do. You don't hear it, but it's been guiding you from the moment you were born. It's the reason your eyes hold the same shimmer as your mother's. It's why your skin knows how to heal, even when you don't ask it to. And when your heart races from love or fear, it's not just emotion, it's memory encoded in molecules. DNA and RNA aren't just dry biology terms. They are the poetry of existence, the instructions, the instruments, and the music of life itself. Every breath you take tonight, every thought you have before sleep, is possible because of a quiet miracle within you. You've carried this mystery your whole life, and tonight, as the world slows down, we'll finally listen to it together. If this story already feels familiar, that's because it's yours. So breathe deep, relax, and stay with me. Subscribe if you believe people deserve to sleep to truths like these. Like this video if you want to see more health, wisdom told this way. And before we begin, tell me in the comments, what part of your body feels the most mysterious to you? Let's begin to learn what is DNA and RNA. Chapter 1. The Code Beneath Your Skin. A story older than memory. Unfolding in silence, you've looked in the mirror before and wondered why your face is shaped the way it is, why your hair coils or falls straight, why your laugh sounds eerily like your father's, even if you don't mean it to, why your hands fidget when you're nervous, why certain emotions seem to find you faster than others. And beneath all of it, beneath the skin, beneath the blood, beneath even the cells, there is a code, a spiral staircase of molecules, impossibly small, yet vast enough to hold the instructions for everything you are. It's called DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. But tonight, we'll call it something simpler. The quiet script of life. The book you didn't write, but still carries your name in every cell of your body. Nearly 37 trillion of them lies a tiny nucleus, and inside that nucleus is a library, not of books, but of folded strands, not written in words, but in bases. A, T, G, and C. A for adenine, T for thymine, G for guanine, and C for cytosine. Like lovers, they pair off in specific ways, A with T, G with C, holding hands in an unbreakable code that tells your cells how to build you. And that's exactly what DNA does. It doesn't just sit there. It tells your skin how to stretch, your bones how to lengthen, your lungs when to breathe, your brain how to wire itself in the womb so that one day you could laugh at a joke or cry at a song. DNA is not static, it's alive. Not in the way we think of breath or heartbeat, but in the way music is alive, played note by note. Over time, it's easy to forget this. We live in bodies, but most of us never learn to read them. You might know more about your phone's software than your own molecular code, but your DNA has been with you from the start, since the moment two cells, one from each of your parents, met in an impossible whisper. From that moment, the full instruction manual of you was formed, 3 billion letters long. Every chapter pre-written. Height, eye color, risk of disease, even part of your temperament, set into motion before your first breath. And yet, not everything was set in stone. This is where the story gets more human. DNA is often misunderstood. People think of it as fate, fixed, final. But that's not the whole truth. Your DNA is a recipe, not a sentence. And just like a recipe, It can turn out differently depending on the heat, the timing, the environment. The scientific term for this is gene expression. The poetic term, possibility. Just because your DNA carries a gene for sadness doesn't mean you'll always feel it. Just because you carry the blueprint for anxiety or addiction doesn't mean you are destined to live it. DNA opens doors, but it doesn't force you through them. And isn't that strangely comforting? That even your deepest biology has room for choice. In the 1950s, two scientists, James Watson and Francis Crick, discovered the shape of DNA. The double helix, a twisting ladder of coded information, wrapped around itself in a spiral of perfection. But long before they saw it, your body already knew how to use it. Without thinking, without learning, your cells decode this ladder millions of times a day. Every time your skin heals from a scratch, every time your stomach digests food, every time your brain stores a new memory, DNA is being read, transcribed, replicated quietly, perfectly, endlessly, even while you sleep. And that's perhaps the most mysterious part. This code, this elegant molecule, doesn't rest when you do. While your conscious mind drifts off, your DNA continues its work, repairing damaged cells, checking for errors, making sure your immune system remembers who you are and who the invaders are. Sleep, in this way, is not a shutdown. It's a molecular ritual, a time when your body pulls out the blueprint, reads it again, and gets back to the slow work of rebuilding you. Each night, you are not just resting. You are being restored by instructions older than civilization. And it goes even deeper. Because DNA doesn't just build you once and leave. It stays with you for life, updating, shifting, reacting. If you spend years in stress, certain genes may activate to help you survive. If you fall in love, other genes may turn on, preparing your body to bond. If you begin to heal, slowly and gently, your DNA listens and responds. Biologists call this epigenetic. The way environment, emotion, and behavior influence the expression of your genes. It means you're not just a product of your parents, you're also a product of your choices. Even tonight, the choice to slow down, breathe deeper, and listen to your body sends signals to your cells. And your cells, they listen better than most people ever have. So what does this mean for you? It means your body is not a stranger. It is a story, one you are co-writing with every hour you live. The fatigue you feel may not be laziness, but a survival mechanism. The anxiety may not be weakness, but your DNA reacting to danger, signals that never shut off. The healing you crave is not just psychological, it's molecular, cellular, ancient. You are not broken. You are responding to a world that has often made it hard to feel safe, to feel seen, to feel well. And just by understanding this, by knowing that your body wants to heal, something begins to change. So tonight, let yourself wonder, what patterns might be living in your bloodline? What scripts have your cells been following without your awareness? And what would it mean to rewrite a few lines, not by force, but by kindness? Maybe healing starts not with doing more, but with listening deeper. Not trying harder, but trusting. Longer, your DNA is listening. Your body is waiting. And now that you've met the code beneath your skin, it's time to meet the voice that speaks it. If DNA is the book of life, then RNA is the reader, the translator. The voice that speaks silent instructions into movement, action, and breath. In the next chapter, we'll discover how your body takes this code and turns it into you, not just once, but every second of every day, and how this translation mirrors something deeply human, the way our thoughts become choices, the way silence becomes song. Chapter 2, RNA, the voice that speaks the code. The translator between silence and becoming of DNA is a book. Then it is one that is never read aloud. It sits safely tucked away, deep in the nucleus, protected from harm, from chaos, from noise. And yet, the body must know what it says. It must act. It must become. So how does the quiet ancient code of DNA turn into skin and lungs and heartbeat? How does it leap from molecule to movement? This is the work of RNA. A single strand, a subtle voice, a living message. RNA doesn't hold the blueprint. It carries it, reads it, speaks it into the world, and without it, nothing would happen. The full name is a ribonucleic acid, but tonight, let's just call it what it is: the messenger, the whisperer, the voice between silence and self, while DNA stays hidden, curled tight like a sacred text. RNA walks the corridors of the cell like a trusted courier, bringing instructions where they are needed most. Imagine this. In the middle of a bustling city, your body lies a great library. That's your DNA. But the buildings around it don't read books. They live in motion. They need someone to come and say, here's how to build a skin cell. Here's how to make insulin. Here's how to repair that tissue. That's RNA's role. It copies just the right section of DNA, carries it carefully to the ribosome, the body's microscopic construction site, and there it helps make something, a protein, a building block, a function, a piece of you. In technical terms, this is called transcription and translation. Your DNA is transcribed into RNA like copying part of a master recipe. Then, RNA is translated into proteins, the actual ingredients that build your body. It sounds complex, but your body does this billions of times per second, and it all begins with a voice. A message, a single strand stepping forward and saying, here's what we need right now. Not everything, just this thing, right here, right now. Isn't that very human? We can't express everything at once, but in the right moment, when it matters, we speak a truth. We act, we become. That's what RNA is, a quiet form of becoming. There are different kinds of RNA, each with their own subtle purpose, like different roles in a play. There's mRNA messenger RNA, which carries the main instructions. This is the kind scientists mimicked when creating mRNA vaccines, teaching your body to recognize certain invaders without giving you the actual infection. Then there's tRNA, transfer RNA, which brings the raw materials to build proteins, and rRNA, ribosomal RNA, which forms the machinery itself. It's a whole orchestra, each part tuned, refined, precise, so your body can play the music of life without ever missing a beat. And here's the miraculous part. It all happens without your awareness. While you're worrying about texts, or traffic, or taxes, RNA is building your heartbeats while you sleep. RNA is reading ancient instructions and making sure you wake up whole. But RNA isn't just about function. It teaches something more profound. It teaches us about translation. In biology, translation means turning code into protein. In life, translation is how we turn inner truth into outward action. You feel something, joy, fear, desire, but it only becomes real when you say something, do something, move. How many feelings have stayed silent in your DNA-like mind, waiting for someone to carry them forward? Sometimes, like RNA, we need to find the words, to name what's happening inside and let it reach the world. RNA reminds us, expression matters. Even the smallest message can build something life-saving. And just as important, RNA is temporary. Unlike DNA, which stays unchanged across your whole life, RNA appears when needed and dissolves when its job is done. It's like a song, sung just once to deliver the message and then gone. There's beauty in that. Not everything is meant to last forever. Not every part of you needs to be permanent to matter. A healing thought, a kind word, a boundary set with shaking hands, an act of courage no one else saw. Like RNA, these moments are small, fleeting, but they build you piece by piece. There's also a darker side to RNA, because just as it can create, it can also be hijacked. Some viruses, like HIV and the coronavirus, are made of RNA. They don't carry blueprints for life. They carry blueprints for replication, invasion, confusion. They trick your cells into translating them instead of you. And suddenly, your body is building something that doesn't belong. There's something poetic in that. Sometimes we carry messages that aren't ours. Thoughts planted by trauma, beliefs whispered by shame, scripts passed down from childhood that no longer fit. And just like RNA, those messages get translated into habits, into choices, into bodies that ache with something unnamed. But once we recognize them, once we see the messenger for what it is, we can stop translating what doesn't serve us. We can write something new. So what do we learn from RNA? We learn that small things matter, that messages have power, that you don't have to hold everything forever, only carry what's needed now. We learn that every action begins with a whisper. Every change begins with a strand of truth moving forward. And that our ability to express, to translate, to become, is not just biological, it's sacred. You are not just a body. You are a story being translated into breath, into motion, into life. And RNA is how your biology speaks. So as you fall asleep tonight, know that your body is still speaking, still reading, still building. Every cell, a musician, every strand, a note. Every moment, an act of creation. Even in your quietest hours, you are never still. You are always becoming. But there's something else, something deeper. What if your body not only reads messages, but remembers them? In the next chapter, we'll explore how your cells hold memory, how stress, love, pain, and healing write their signatures on your biology, and how your genes don't just react to life, they remember it. Your body has a memory, and sometimes it knows more about you than your mind ever will. Chapter 3. How your cells remember you. The memory beneath the mind. The story written in silence. You might think memory only lives in the mind, tucked into thoughts, strung together by words and pictures. Moments you can recall, replay, regret. But your body remembers things your mind forgets. Not in sentences, not in stories, but in signals, in chemistry, in the way your heart beats faster in certain rooms, in the way your stomach tightens before goodbyes, in the way your skin flinches from certain kinds of touch. This isn't imagination, it's cellular memory. The truth that your body records not just what happens, but how it felt, and stores it, molecule by molecule, deep beneath your awareness. Tonight, we're going to listen to those whispers, and understand how your cells, without a brain, still know who you are. It starts with a field of science called epigenetics. You've met your DNA, the blueprint, and RNA, the messenger. But here, we meet the editor, the one who decides which parts of your DNA get read and which parts stay silent. That's epigenetics. It doesn't change your genes, it changes how your genes are expressed. Like a spotlight on a stage, it chooses what gets seen and what stays in the dark. And that spotlight is moved by life itself. When you're exposed to chronic stress, your cells adjust. Certain genes activate to help you survive, boosting inflammation, heightening vigilance, tightening the nervous system. It's your biology responding to fear. But over time, if the stress doesn't stop, those settings can become default. Your body starts reacting to ordinary life as if it's still under siege. You don't think you're in danger, but your heart races, your sleep breaks, your digestion stumbles, and you wonder, what's wrong with me? Nothing is wrong with you. Your body just remembers too well. There are stories buried in your tissues, not as memories you can recall, but as biological behaviors. A child who grew up without safety may grow into an adult whose cortisol, the stress hormone, never quite resets. They may seem irritable or numb or exhausted, but really, they are living in a body that was trained to expect chaos. A woman who lived through heartbreak might find her immune system flaring up more often, not because of illness, but because her body sensed threat and learned to stay ready. This is not weakness. This is adaptation, and once you see it, you can finally stop blaming yourself for feeling the way you do. There's a phrase in trauma science, the body keeps the score. And it's true, your body writes what happened into its most private notebooks, not to punish you, but to protect you. And yet, what was once protective can become heavy. That's why healing isn't just talk. It's breath, it's movement. It's learning how to be in your body again, without fear. Because when your body begins to feel safe, the cellular memories that were frozen in place can begin to thaw. There's a remarkable study in mice. Scientists exposed male mice to the smell of cherry blossoms, but each time they paired it with a mild shock. Over time, the mice began to fear the scent. Here's where it gets strange. When those mice had children, and even grandchildren, those next generations also reacted with fear to the cherry blossom smell, even though they had never been shocked. Even though they had never been taught to fear it, the fear lived in their genes, passed down like a ghost in the blood. This is the science of transgenerational epigenetic. It means your body may carry echoes of pain you never personally lived, and suddenly your anxiety makes a different kind of sense. It's not just yours, it's inherited, stored in methyl groups, written between the lines of your DNA expression. But, again, this isn't fate. You are not doomed to carry what your ancestors suffered. You are allowed to live differently, and your cells can learn. Because epigenetics is not a death sentence, it's a door. If stress can activate certain genes, then safety can deactivate them. If trauma can tighten your body's grip, then love, rest, and meaning can slowly loosen it. Studies show that mindfulness, meditation, even a consistent bedtime can shift epigenetic markers. They won't rewrite your past, but they can change how your body reads it. Imagine that, a quiet act of care, like stretching before sleep, can whisper to your cells, it's safe now. You don't have to fight anymore. That's healing. And it begins deep, far below the surface. Let's pause here for a moment. Take a breath, not just for the lungs, but for the part of you that's been holding everything in for years. Let the breath reach the places your words couldn't. Let it be the message your cells never got to hear. And imagine them listening now, because they are. Your cells remember your patterns, but they also remember your peace, your tears, your laughter, the way you softened after years of guarding. They remember every moment you chose to stay, to forgive, to breathe, to try again. And those memories, they build something too, not just resilience, but renewal. This is why healing feels unfamiliar, because your cells are learning a language they were never taught. But with every gentle night, with every small kindness, they begin to understand. And so, tonight, let your body know it is not behind. It is not broken. It is just remembering and beginning slowly to relearn. You are not rebuilding from scratch. You are restoring what was always yours. Safety, softness, space to be. But what if some of what you're healing was never yours too? Carrie, what if the way your body reacts was written long before you arrived? In the next chapter, we'll explore how our DNA carries the echoes of our bloodline gifts, traits, and wounds alike, and how understanding what we've inherited can set us free to become something new. Because even when you didn't choose the story, you can still choose how it ends. Chapter 4: The Inheritance You Didn't Choose. What lives in you that didn't begin with you? You were born carrying things you didn't ask for. Not just eye color, not just the shape of your smile, but fears you couldn't explain. Longings that felt older than you. A sadness that seemed to come from nowhere. And maybe, deep down, you felt it, that some of what you wrestle with didn't begin in your own lifetime. It's as if your body remembers a song that your mind never learned. This is not superstition, it is science, it is biology, and it is legacy. Tonight, we walk into the quiet corridors of genetic inheritance, not just to understand what you carry, but to begin gently, to set some of it down. You already know DNA carries instructions, how tall you'll be, what your voice might sound like, your blood type, even how you metabolize food. But within those blueprints are not just traits. There are patterns, there are tendencies, there are unfinished stories. Some of them are helpful. You might inherit a strong immune system, high resilience, a sharp mind, but others are heavier, like a heart wired to panic, a nervous system always on edge, a predisposition to depression, addiction, or chronic pain. These aren't just in your head, they live in your cells, passed from mother to daughter, father to son, through an invisible thread. And the hardest part, you didn't get to choose which part stayed. Think of your body as an heirloom, one that's been handed down generation after generation, worn, patched, sometimes stained, but still whole. And along with its strengths, it carries the fingerprints of every hand that held it. Scientists have long studied how trauma moves through bloodlines. In families where ancestors endured war, famine, genocide, slavery, or exile, the descendants often show higher rates of stress disorders, autoimmune issues, or anxiety, even when they were never directly harmed. How is this possible? Because trauma doesn't just mark the mind, it marks the body. It etches itself into epigenetic markers, tiny chemical tags that tell your DNA which genes to express and which to silence. These changes can be passed on, not the trauma itself, but the reaction to it, the biology of fear, the chemistry of grief, and suddenly you understand why you flinch when nothing's wrong, why your breath shortens in still rooms, why you sometimes feel like you're waiting for something bad to happen, even in safety. Your body isn't confused. It's inherited a world it didn't live through, and it's trying to protect you. But inheritance is not just about damage, it's also about wisdom. You inherited more than wounds. You inherited survival. You inherited rhythm. You inherited instincts, intelligence, sensitivity, the ability to feel deeply, which once kept your ancestors alive. The genes that carry pain also carry persistence. What haunts you may have once protected them, and that protection lives on in you. You are not weak for carrying what they couldn't say. You are evidence that they endured, and now you have a choice they may never had: to live with awareness, to live with softness, to begin again. There's a story in your blood, but it is not your final draft. Even if your father battled addiction, even if your mother carried invisible sadness, even if generations before you never had the tools to heal, you are allowed to become something new. Science proves this. While genes are passed down, their expression is not fixed. You might carry the gene for anxiety, but with enough safety, sleep, therapy, and love, that gene can remain silent, like a book on the shelf that's never read. You might carry trauma-coded inflammation, but with breathwork, nature, nutrition, and meaning, your body can rewrite its responses. This is called epigenetic resilience, the ability of your biology to shift, adapt, and even heal over time. You are not just a product of your past. You are a process in motion, and every small choice, every walk, every kind boundary, every early bedtime is a thread pulling you toward a future your ancestors dreamed of but never reached. Until now. And what about the emotional side? The things science can't measure. The stories that were never written down, but lived on in silence. Maybe your grandmother never spoke of the war, but your heart still jumps at sirens. Maybe your father never learned to say, "I love you," but your body aches for softness anyway. Maybe the people who raised you didn't know how to rest, and that's why you feel guilty every time you try. These are the invisible inheritances, and the truth is, you may never get all the answers. You may never know what they survived, what they gave up, what they hoped for and never got. But here's what you can know: you made it here. And that means you get to choose what lives on through you. So what will you pass down? Not just to future children, but to the people around you now. To the friends who feel safer near your calm. To the partner who softens when you soften. To yourself, 5 years from now, still learning how to live slower. Will you pass down fear or safety? Will you repeat the patterns or begin new rituals? You don't have to heal the whole bloodline. You just have to respond differently. Sometimes all it takes is a pause, a breath, a refusal to let the pain dictate your next move, and just like that, you've interrupted the pattern. That is power, and it's yours. So tonight, let your body rest, even if you don't have all the answers, even if some aches don't have names, even if healing still feels foreign. Just know, you are not broken. You are becoming, and even though you didn't choose what you inherited, you get to choose what you keep and what you let go of. You are the living edge of your bloodline, the one who listens, the one who transforms, the one who says it ends with me, and it begins with me, too. But how does change actually happen? How do you turn understanding into healing? In the final chapter, we'll explore how your biology responds to love, to rest, to meaning, not just metaphorically, but molecularly. Because healing isn't just a feeling, it's a process your body already knows how to do. You just have to give it the right conditions, and it will do the rest. Chapter 5. Healing at the molecular level. How your body becomes your sanctuary. Healing is not abstract. It isn't just a beautiful word on a page, or a quote saved to your phone at midnight. It's not something you have to believe in, like magic or fake, until you make it. Healing, real healing, happens in the blood, in the cells, in the spaces so small they can't be seen with the human eye, but can change your entire life. And the truth is this: your body wants to heal. It's built for it, designed for it, waiting for the right signal, the right softness, the right pause to begin again. Think of every cell in your body as a tiny, intelligent world. It breathes, it communicates, it responds, it remembers. And when you're in pain, physical or emotional, your cells know. They change shape, they adjust behavior, they switch certain genes on or off, not randomly, but in response to your internal environment. Now, ask yourself, what environment have your cells been living in? Have they been bathing in stress hormones, swimming in adrenaline, tensed against the cold edge of survival? Or have they been given a chance to soften, to trust, to repair? This is what healing at the molecular level means: creating an inner world where your cells are no longer defending, but restoring. Let's walk into your biology for a moment. When you're calm, not numb, but truly calm, your parasympathetic nervous system takes the wheel. This is called the rest and digest mode. It's the opposite of fight or flight. And when this system is active, a cascade of healing begins. Heart rate slows, breath deepens, digestion improves, inflammation decreases, cells begin to repair DNA damage, immune cells switch from attack mode to cleanup mode, hormones rebalance, neuroplasticity increases, meaning your brain rewires faster. All of this from safety, from slowness, from stillness. You don't have to force it. You only have to allow it. Your body has always known how to heal. It just needs permission. Sleep is one of the greatest permissions you can offer, because when you sleep, your body doesn't shut down. It wakes up to its most sacred work. Cells remove toxins from the brain. Damaged tissues are scanned, mended, or cleared. Hormones, like growth hormones, surge, restoring bone, muscle, and skin. Memories are processed, integrated, or released. Emotional patterns are softened, and stress chemicals are cleared from your bloodstream. This is why chronic sleep deprivation is so harmful. It starves the healing process. It blocks the repair team from entering the building. But tonight, you're not starving. You're inviting it all. Back in, you're offering your body what it's been whispering for, a chance to rebuild. From the inside out, let's go even deeper at the molecular level. Your cells talk to one another constantly, using proteins called cytokines, neurotransmitters, hormones, enzymes, a biochemical language of light-speed communication. And here's the miracle. These molecules don't just respond to physical inputs like food, exercise, injury. They respond to emotional states. When you feel love, genuine love, your brain releases oxytocin. Your heart rate stabilizes. Inflammation decreases. Your cells begin to signal safety. When you feel seen, your immune system strengthens. When you feel safe, your digestion improves. When you feel held, your pain receptors quiet. Your emotions are not just stories, they are biological events, and your body listens to all of them. This is why healing isn't just about what you do, but how you feel doing it. You could eat perfectly, exercise daily, and take every supplement, but if you're swimming in shame, resentment, or pressure, your cells stay in defense mode. But if you give yourself gentle grace, if you walk slower, love, softer, rest deeper. Your cells get the message. It's safe to heal now. You may not have realized it, but every act of self-kindness has been a biochemical intervention. Every time you forgave yourself, your cortisol dropped. Every time you stopped rushing, your inflammation cooled. Every time you cried and let it out, your lymphatic system flowed better. And every time you let someone truly see you, your body believed you could survive. That is healing, not in theory, but in chemistry. And still, there's more. Even your thoughts alter your biology. Studies have shown that people who practice gratitude, not perform it, but feel it, show stronger immune function, better sleep, and improved heart health. Why? Because gratitude shifts your attention away from danger toward possibility, and the body follows attention. Where your focus goes, your molecules go. It's not about pretending life is perfect. It's about reminding your nervous system that not everything is a threat, that there is light, that there is stillness, that there is something worth rebuilding for. So tonight, let your healing begin again, not through effort, not through punishment, not through performance, but through soft conditions. Let the room be quiet. Let your breath fall slow. Let your heart loosen its armor, and let your cells do what they've been waiting to do all along. Rebalance, repair, restore. You don't have to fight for healing. You just have to stop interrupting it and trust the moment you let go. Your body begins again in every moment of rest. A quiet miracle unfolds. You are not falling behind. You are returning to balance, to wholeness, to the deep molecular rhythm of being human. And no matter what you've carried, no matter how long it's been, healing is always available. Not someday, but now. Sleep is not a pause. It is a ritual, a sanctuary, a restoration. So close your eyes, let go, and remember, you are not broken. You are healing, and you don't have to try so hard anymore. Just rest. Your cells remember what to do. They always have. So now, let your body settle. Let your thoughts fade like stars before dawn. There is nothing more to figure out, nothing more to carry, nothing more to fix. You've already done the most important thing. You've made space to rest, and in that space, healing begins. Not through effort, not through willpower, but through something older, deeper, and infinitely wiser. Your body remembers. Your cells remember. Even when you forget, they do not. So let the quiet hold you now. Let the breath be easy. Let the room feel safe. The work of the day is done. You've returned home to yourself. At the most elemental level, you are safe here. You are loved here. You are healing here. And no matter what came before this moment, right now, your body is at peace. So sleep, softly, deeply, fully. The night will hold you, and the morning will find you renewed. Good night from the Sleep Academy.